I remember like running out of class all the time, taking phone calls. We didn't have an admin unless it was an exam or something.
Welcome to the Remotely Creative Podcast. I'm your host, Scotty Carlson. And today we have a special guest, Nic Jenner, who's come all the way from Castlegar, 40 minutes, to join us today to talk about his career as the owner, operator, director of Jenner Media Group.
Yeah, co-owner.
With your bro.
Yeah.
Which is a super cool company that ultimately focuses on real estate, videography. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I would say 90% of what we do is in real estate. We'll dabble in a little bit of commercial work, but yeah, mainly real estate.
Right. And you got started in that how long ago?
Back in COVID that was how it all started. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because everything was moving to online and virtual, and people were looking for higher quality visuals and virtual tours and all stuff like that. Because everyone was shopping online, and you couldn't even do open houses at the time. So, yeah, that was how it started.
Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to like when I bought my house, and yeah, it was just, I guess there was photos, and none of them were really great. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, it just kind of seems like in the last 5 years that the whole real estate, cinematography, videography, production has gone like way up. And now it's almost like seems expected in a way. Yeah. And realtors, I feel like, are doing way more like tours where they're on camera, they're showing the house, they're bringing their personalities out more. Yeah. Do you guys do that as well? Yeah,
and that's kind of what it's turned into a lot more is now that it's basically a standard to get professional photography done and droning and whatnot. But now it's like getting creative with the marketing and selling lifestyle and different stuff like that. So it's always changing. But in terms of professional work, it's pretty well the standard for most realtors now.
Right. And I guess you're working anywhere from Nelson, Castlegar, Roslyn, Trail. Do you guys go beyond that?
Sometimes we'll go out to like Christina Lake. We'll try and make a day out of it in terms if we're going, we'll try and get a few shoots in. And then we're going like Caslow. But yeah, typically Nelson Trail, Castlegar is that's where most of our work is.
Right. And so was it Aiden your brother that first got into like drone photography? Is that where
Yeah, it was kind of just a hobby. And then it just turned into like a couple of our realtor friends were just like, hey, you should start doing this. No one does this. And we kind of dabbled a little bit in it, and then it was like, we're going to give this a shot. And then it was perfect timing with COVID because everyone was kind of needing it, and then the demand was already there. And then we were kind of doing it part-time just because we were both going through university, and we were running it kind of part-time-ish. And then now that we're both graded, it's the full-time. It's what we're doing all the time now. So
yeah, that's sweet. So when you guys were doing it part-time, you guys, maybe not all the time, but you were hiring some people as well to do. What was that like to be in school, but also like the boss of somebody? Yeah,
I remember like running out of class all the time, taking phone calls. We didn't have an admin person at the time. So I was all the time on the phone, running out of class, trying to make sure. One thing with realtors is they're working around the clock. And stuff has to happen fast. So when it was a phone call, it's usually can't really just pass it off or not answer it. But unless it was an exam or something, I wasn't running out of class, but yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess a big part of that is like in real estate, you probably shoot the same house more than once.
Yeah. And well, a lot of it goes with like renos and stuff like that. So even if a small thing changes, they want the entire thing reshot, or we'll shoot at a different time of year.
Right.
But yeah.
And I guess, houses are bought and sold. So it's like, it's getting sold again. It's, changed or, you need to, and so I guess inventory is kind of a thing. Like, you just need to make sure you're in a place where there's enough houses being bought and sold. Yeah. And I imagine if there's like a town that's too small, it'd be like not a lot of business happening.
Yeah. And that's it's nice being in our area. We're between the areas we serve, probably total like 50,000 people, 40,000. So it's a nice medium of the people we serve and stuff and we got close relationships with them, and our clients are great in terms of, just communicating with us, and we got good relationships. It's more like a marketing partner is kind of how they treat us, and we treat them, bouncing ideas and stuff. So
yeah, it's cool. I feel like it's gotten way more creative in the last couple of years, from, the drone photography and stuff was cool. All of a sudden it was like, shopping for real estate got more fun, and then it got like the home tours got way more exciting and like cinematic, and then now it seems like it's even jumped up to that next level where like I said, the personality of the realtor is coming out more, and they want to kind of showcase kind of, because I guess it's marketing for them too. Yeah,
a lot of it's about like personal branding for them, and you know, the package that they bring to you, like when they're coming to you with a listing presentation and they say, hey, I'm doing professional video, photo, we're going to showcase the best, you're going to get the best marketing when you list with me. So that's been, they treat us as a partner, and we're like, you know, hey, I work with Jenner Media Group, they're my marketing partner on all my listings. And yeah.
Do you, when you go to a house, can you tell right away if it's going to be like, oh, this house is going to sell, or is it just like, who knows?
I try to not don't know much about like the pricing and stuff like that, but it's, you get to see some pretty cool stuff. But in terms of, you know, what's going to sell, like, you actually, over the years, I've gotten a pretty good idea of, you know, what I think will sell quick. But yeah, I would. Yeah.
So it's COVID, you guys start dabbling in this, because now, you know, you're doing it full time.
Yeah.
And you were living in Costa Rica for 2 years? How long were you there?
Yeah, I was on and off, but I left in fall of 2023, came back spring of 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot happened while you were there.
Yeah.
You're now married.
Yeah.
To a woman from Costa Rica.
Yep.
Who's now living here.
Mm-hmm.
So you dabble in it. It's kind of like picking up steam. I'm kind of like, oh, this is cool. These boys, you know, they're going for it. And then it seems like it just like really ramped up.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe in the last couple of years from, like something you guys were doing and it could work to like, okay, this is.
And that was kind of what it was. We were trying to figure out, you know, is this sustainable for a career? And at the time I was working in accounting and finance, and I was kind of tossing the idea back and forth, you know, is this enough to support myself? And, you know, is it a career I could see myself doing? And it kind of just took off like crazy. And, you know, once realtors are all a super close knit group, so once you do a good job for one person, it's like, hey, you should contact these guys. You know, they do a lot of good work, and they do all my work, and
yeah, that's cool. I mean, I think you kind of nailed it for all industries, and they're all much smaller than you know. You think I work a lot in the sports and outdoor world, and like even from skiing to snowboarding to mountain biking, they're all small and they're all kind of connected and know each other. And if you do a good job and you're easy to work with, the nice thing I think with working locally is that you get to actually meet people and face to face. You know, a lot of the stuff I do is digital and online, and I kind of miss, you know, that interaction. So as far as realtors go, I guess they're all they work for a realty company, but they're all independent contractors in a way. So I guess that relationship with you is, you know, they need to trust in what you're doing because it's money out of their pocket, and you know, the marketing side of it. That's sweet. So you get back from Costa Rica, and I guess you have this choice to be either an accountant. I guess, you know, this business needs accounting, so you can tackle that. Mm-hmm. Or pursue this. And what was the decision? Like, how did you decide to do this?
Well, a big part of it was especially getting married, and she's not from Canada, like having that remote hybrid work, being able to, you know, if I took a job or a career at a different place, it'd be tough for me to, you know, be gone a few months a year if I needed to be, or if something like that. It was just more the flexibility for me. And I still, you know, accounting and stuff is still part of our everyday, you know, running the business. But that was a big part of it, was just the hybrid kind of work model. And honestly, it wasn't like I was, at the start, I was crazy passionate about photography, never mind real estate photography. Like, it was kind of just fell into it. And then I really started to enjoy doing it, and over the years. And that was, it kind of just, I shouldn't say, a big part of it was wanting to run my own business. That was a huge part of it. Like, it's always something kind of I'd wanted to do. And then I was like, I'm gonna kind of bet on myself here and give it a run. And the rest was history.
That's sweet. I feel like that is like running your own business. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's obviously, it has its own challenges, and there's nobody that's writing checks for you. You know, it's every month is up to you to go find the work and maintain it. And when something goes wrong, it's on you as well. And I feel like that extra pressure, especially when you know you're married. But I feel like if you're going to try, you got to got to do it and go for it, or else you'll just never know. And it is nice to be your own boss. So yeah, I feel like, do you feel like having the accounting experience helped you when starting your own business? Because when I started my own business, I was clueless on the business side. Fully like, it's still, you know, a work in progress. And I feel like a lot of successful businesses I see have somebody who, you know, has some kind of business degree or business administration or accounting, or they're a lawyer who then builds their own business. I
think I had a nice foundation in terms of just understanding, you know, even just basic profit margin, like just the basics of like, okay, here's what we're going to charge. Here's what it's going to cost us. Like, here's what it's actually going to cost us. Not just, okay, it cost me $40 to drive there, but you know, insurance, like licensing, like all the stuff, depreciation of gear, like you got to take extra costs into account that luckily I was working on the other end of that before. So it was nice to have that foundation.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much of that is, I think sometimes you need to be naive to a lot of that stuff when you start a business, or else it kind of can be overwhelming if you're not coming from that place already. You know, if you have that experience, great. But if you're not, then all of a sudden someone tells you got to do all this stuff, and you're like, oh my God, it's never going to work. I'm going to quit. So I feel like sometimes, just being naive and optimistic can work. But also, if you don't get that lesson early, you know, I remember getting that lesson early and being like, holy smokes, there's a lot more to this. You know, and the money we were making at the time, I was like, oh man, we're rich. You know, and then all the extra costs, like you say, of license or insurance and software costs and all your hard costs come up, and it's like, well, profit margin shrunk real quick there.
Especially when you're, or even you're losing money and you're working 16 hours a day, and you might as well go flip burgers then. Like, I just recorded a journal entry before you got here, and I was like, I need to figure out how to balance my life more. And I just go through these processes or these projects where it's like, it's so overwhelming. You know, I was just working like 18 hours a day for probably 3 weeks straight. You know, I'd go home for dinner. I'd be there for breakfast with the kids. I didn't miss hockey though. Took one to the jaw last night. A puck, right? Got me good. But I was like, you know, that's 2 hours out of that I can just like sneak away for. But it's like, I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and still to this point, I don't have like systems where when something like this happens, where it's like a big project comes right away and you have to ramp up. So I need to figure that out still. So it's always ongoing. But the one nice thing is that over the years, I can tell that like this insanity will end. You know, it'll get back to a normal schedule. When there isn't work, I know that there will be work, and that ebb and flow of it all. And I think for a lot of people that just get started, you know, you get into it and you might have a month or 2 months or 3 months where there isn't work and you start freaking out. And I think that's the beauty of business. Like, I don't know, like kind of eat what you kill, you know, it's all on you, like you said. And I don't know, for me, I almost live in the chaos. I kind of like it, but I'm younger and don't have kids, so it's a lot different. But I don't know. I actually enjoy that part of it. I mean, it gets old if you're doing it every single day and wears you down eventually, but I do enjoy like that part of it, like not just kind of having the 9 to 5. I like, you know, sometimes it's nice to stay up until midnight and just work on whatever it is you're doing. Totally. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. And I feel like, the chaos is preparing you for having kids. You'll be great. It'll just slip right in. It'll just be another thing that's part of it. And last year I did tons of like coaching and volunteering, and I was like, so chaotic. I was like, this year I need to like just step back a bit and not have as much chaos. But you're right. I think that like when you like what you do, staying up to midnight, like as much as it can suck doing it, it's also enjoyable. Like I'm having fun, as weird as it, you know, might be. But I think that the ability to just go out and do what you want to do, and it's on you. But when you were coming here and you had a shoot that you're doing and you had a meeting with those guys yesterday, and then you got to leave in 15 minutes, you know, to go to another meeting. And I remember when we were just starting this company, I was like, that excitement, you know, just like you're here now, you're doing a podcast, then you're going to leave, and then you're going to be at another meeting and you got more work to do. There is like this energy, this like momentum that you can get caught up in. That's just fun. It's like, Doesn't even feel like work. It's just
Yeah.
like what you love to do. And that's the part of the business that I love, is just doing stuff like this and meeting new clients and, you know, helping people. It's just all part of it. And it's
It is
awesome.
cool. And I imagine when you deliver the stuff you do to clients, to the realtors, they must just be like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're super grateful. Like they're, you know, they don't know anything about photography or videos. And they're just like, just do your thing. Like, don't take, you know, sometimes we'll send ideas on Instagram or whatever of like, hey, I like this idea, but like putting our own twist on it, they're like, just be as creative as you want. Like you got full reign, just give her. So
Yeah, that's sweet.
yeah.
And I imagine for them, like you say, like they're showing up, they have like their whole thing of like, you know, trying to sell the house and figure out how to market it. And you're a big part of that marketing, obviously. So when you come in and you have everything and you have them mic'd up and you have the cameras and the gear and the gimbals and the drones and stuff, it must be like super cool, I imagine, for them to all of a sudden they become the talent in a way, you know, like
Yeah.
they're this conduit to it. But
And the homeowners love it. They're like some people, they'll just be like, you know, are you going to do, if some people don't do the video, and like, oh, are you going to do this video or whatever? And like, they love, the homeowners love it too. Yeah.
Smart. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. You want the homeowners to put pressure. Yeah,
Yes.
lean on the realtors and be like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Need the video, need the full package.
It is nerve wracking though, for a lot, like getting in front of the camera. I mean, even me being here, it's nerve wracking, but it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like some people can transition to it pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe like a younger generation that grows up with social media now, where way more people are filming themselves. But yeah, no matter what, as soon as that camera comes on, it just feels
Yeah.
different. You can have like the most natural conversation going, and then it's like, okay, press record. Then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what were we talking about?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of anything right now?
Yeah.
And when you're, all of a sudden someone's following you through a house or, but you said you also do some commercial production.
Yeah.
So is that something that you guys have done lots of, or just starting to pursue, or where's that balance for you?
Well, it's not like, the best part about real estate is it's always happening. Like commercial projects, say you're working with a bigger company, they got like once a year, hey, we want to showcase this, whatever it is they may be doing, whether it's a building or it's a gym commercial or whatever it may be. Those happen, you know, a couple times a year maybe. So it happens sometimes. Just it's not our bread and butters in real estate, and that's just what we know best. But we do offer the commercial stuff too.
Yeah, you know, I feel like there's so much of, so like I do a lot of post-production and motion graphics and stuff, and there's like companies that do it that are really famous and known for this incredible work, and that's what you see on their website. And then you'll see someone that, you know, is the director of that company at a conference, and they'll talk about the 95% of the other work that you don't see that's
Yeah.
more just like B2B and doing like, I don't want to say generic, but more just blue collar type of work in
Yeah.
our industry. And that pays the bills because that is constant. That's happening. Yeah. Businesses need that all the time versus like these, like you say, once a year, where it's this kind of showpiece. And lots of times that gets a lot of energy and time poured into it for, you know, what comes out when you look at, you know, time versus what you're being paid.
Yeah, people don't realize that either, is, you know, it takes, for a 1 minute video can take 2 weeks, or maybe in your case you shoot a lot longer stuff, like 10 minutes videos or more, and it, you know, it takes months. Like,
yeah, it can take a long time. And I think, you know, like you said, with realty, whatever industry you're in, being able to like have that shorthand with like doing it, just being able to show up, know what you're doing, know where you need to be, where you need to place things. Does something need to be lit? You know, it's just nice for you, nice for the people you're working with. It just becomes this like, flow state and cadence to it, which is really nice. So the podcast is called Remotely Creative, and it's mostly based on people that work remotely in remote regions, but also people that work remotely in cities too, you know. Mm-hmm. But I feel like real estate photography, not that I want people to come in and, you know, snake any business from you, but I feel like it's this really neat conduit before for like people that wanted to work locally in photography and cinematography. Like weddings were kind of like the only thing other than doing stuff commercial, but like you say, it's so few and far between. But real estate's become this kind of new avenue where there's being energy and dollars put. So for someone that's, you know, in a place similar to the Kootenays, do you have any advice to them kind of entering into the world? Any kind of like lessons learned, what works, what doesn't when it comes to real estate production?
For us, I would say that, like, for anyone starting out, especially like young kid, just, I know it sucks working for free, but just offer real estate agents free like just do free work and see, you got to build that, if you don't deserve to be paid because your work's bad, then like just start somewhere. And at least if you do a bad job, they didn't pay you anything for it. So, and I learned that, like, do it for free, and they'll give you the feedback. So, tweak this, change that. Don't be afraid to offer free shoots. That's what I would say. And just building those relationships, like, go in to their office, bring a coffee, shake a hand. Like, that was how we started. So
does the golf game help you?
A couple times, yeah. There's some connections through golf, yeah.
I think, a couple things you said there. There's kind of like always this debate whether to like work for free or not work for free, and everybody has like what's worked for them. And I think that you made a good point of, when you do work for free, it also kind of reduces the pressure you feel if you haven't done kind of the job you wanted to, or you didn't, because things are just challenging. You can have the best intentions and the right gear and all those things, and you show up and it just didn't go well that day in anything. And so when you are learning, there is kind of a nice ability to do that, where you're just like, I want to learn how to do this. I'd like to do it in a commercial context to feel that all. And then if it doesn't work perfectly, it's like, okay, I didn't take any of your money, relax, and I get to do it again. And in that case, you are building a relationship, like you said, and that is huge. And, the other point you made, with golf, is that lots of times you already have all these existing relationships that exist. Doing the things you already might do. You might play hockey, you might golf, you might, play bocce ball, who knows? But your network probably already exists more than most people think. And then within that network, it's the network effect. They know somebody who knows somebody, and then all of a sudden the work, in this area. And now you guys are the biggest real estate production.
Yeah, we're doing most of the work around here, for sure. We have people shooting in like Nelson Trail, Castlegar now. So, and then we have our back end team that does all the editing work, because it started as me doing it all, but as soon as you get past even one shoot a day, it's almost impossible to flip it around, because they're trying to get it by the next morning. So it's a lot of it's speed in real estate, and they need the media, because it's got to get to market, because that's the homeowners need to sell their place. So I would say like having a team, and it's been that was a big thing for me, was delegating and learning. That's all part of building the business. Was, okay, I'm going to step away from whatever it may be, scheduling or bookkeeping or whatever, stuff like that. That was a big thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So how many people do you have working for you right now, or working with you?
So I'm one of the shooters. I do a lot of the shooting, like the main shooting. So me, Aiden, brother, Lissa, our sister, she's doing all the admin and stuff. She's just helping with, and a lot of our clients knew who she was before, just because through our family and stuff.
People love her.
Yeah, and she's got the Jenner last name, so she fits in. She's doing admin, and then we got a shooter, Nelson, shooter and trail, video editor, and photo editor.
Nice work.
Yeah, so the team is 7.
That's very cool. And I think that is, like you say, is the most challenging part of what I found in business, was stepping away from the creative constantly to delegation and administration, and I sucked at it, and I failed at it. And so now it's like gone back to like me, I work alone, and then I just like hire out when I need to on certain projects, because I just couldn't maintain it. I just love doing the actual, I like being on the tools. And then 2, I just wasn't good at that side of it. And so I feel like it's such a superpower for you to be able to do that. Obviously you're still shooting. I'm
still working on
it.
It's hard. And I slowly, like, honestly, having someone you trust, like, that's why, like, people always say don't work with family, but I literally couldn't imagine not working with my family, because just like the trust, and like, a lot of time people are just trying to snake you and do whatever, and it's nice to have the trust with, in my case, brother and sister, but just passing off client communication and trusting that she's gonna pick up the phone and handle the situation, whatever it may be, well. And nice to, although Aiden's not shooting, just bouncing ideas and planning long-term and more strategy stuff together is nice too. So
yeah, it's awesome. I like how you guys kind of passed the baton. It was like when you were away, living in Costa Rica, he was kind of doing more of the shooting and stuff, and then when you got back and he had finished his degree, and it was like he could pass that baton to you to do more of the shooting, and you guys like have managed this as brothers. And I think the cool thing is, like, no matter what, if things don't go well, you still can just wrestle and get over it. And then it's like, you know, you still got to show up.
Yeah. And we talked about that before, like, you know, and even my parents, when we were, you know, 19 and 17, when we started, it was like, okay, you guys do this, but, you know, just make sure it doesn't come between, you know, you two. So yeah, we've been good about it over the years. There's obviously discrepancies we have, but it's all been good. So
yeah, that's sweet. And that's sweet that your sister's in on it now too. So, and that you've all gone to school while owning and operating this business. And now your sister's able to go to school too while being part of the business.
Yeah. And that's why it's nice for her, you know, make a couple bucks going to school and work remote from her laptop. Everything's done online now. So yeah, for her, it's perfect fit. And for us, it works well too. So
yeah. And I think business has just changed. I think, you know, when I started business, it felt way more brick and mortar and it's just traditional. And you tried to like, I wanted to fit into that like brick and mortar. We're open from 9 to 5. Someone's got to be able to answer the phone at those times. And, you know, like delivering now it's just changed completely. Still good to be able to answer the phone between those times. But I would do that and then also have to stay up until ridiculous hours and then wake up in the morning and be like, you know, we're open for business. But how did your parents feel about you having gone to school and doing accounting and then decide to do this more non-traditional business? Yeah. Are they like, well, maybe you should just be an accountant?
There was some like, you know, they had their own, and I was in a good, you know, I had a job lined up and everything. And I ended up, I'm like, you know, I always wanted to run my own business. And I felt like I was kind of at a why where, you know, figure out on our own or, you know, if I would have taken the other route, it would have been a lot easier and life would have been a lot more simple, I'm sure, especially with all the stuff going on. So yeah, they were really supportive after, just at the start. They're like, you know, if you're going to do this, you got to commit to it fully. And they were very supportive about it, which was good because not a lot of parents maybe would be. But I think they trust, you know, if you think you can do it, then do it. And so, yeah.
And have you found like, hey, I think that's great. Your parents are obviously, I know them well and they're awesome. Have you found like the ability to balance? Like, can you still go play golf when you want to play golf? Or I've played hockey against you annoyingly. So have you found like, cause like you say, like those turnarounds, that is crazy. Like the fact that your schedule is constantly like your clients want next day turnaround. Yeah. That like, so every day is pressure, you know, a lot of the days, you know, a lot of the projects I work on, like the shortest might be a week, but mostly they're like weeks or months that I'm like working on something. So daily there's pressure and, you know, but it's not like I got to deliver that thing every day. So that must, like,
and I think, you know, doing it at scale, like at the start, it was like, you know, couple shoots a week. And now, you know, you're shooting a lot more. Like doing it at scale, we had to make sure systems, automations, all that stuff's down pat. 'Cause like you said, if something breaks or you're screwed and they can't get their stuff the next morning, and that's when they're expecting it. So that was a big part, was building our systems and making them like rock solid, and having, you know, Alyssa, for example, know them, like if something happens, how do you deal with it? But yeah, when it comes to like, even like you're flying drones, you crash a drone or whatever, like, well then what? Like, are you not working for a week waiting for a drone to come in? So we always make sure in that case we always have a full set of extra gear in case something crashes out. But yeah, it is pressure, but I don't know, like you said, I kind of like it.
Yeah, there is I agree. I still like it after doing it for a long time. Sometimes it can be like, you know, wear on you, but there is an excitement and a fun in doing it. But you didn't answer my question. Do you still get time to golf? Do you still get time?
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yes, I do. It's summer. It's super seasonal. Like real estate, you know, market drops off 60% probably in the winter. Just come November, December, January, it slows down a lot. So you kind of have to be it's nice during hockey season, play hockey, whatever. But come golf, you know, that's my hobby, but it takes up a lot of time. So you got to be able to, part of the reason now we're delegating and stuff is, you know, being able to get some of my life back has been nice. Just turning my phone off at 6 or 7 even is nice, rather than all night doing revisions, editing, whatever it may be. That's been really nice, and that's been part of delegating and the reason why we're doing it. But I try and like, I'll do my best to block off even Wednesday afternoons, go golf with Dad, men's night, and then maybe once on the weekend, maybe depending how everything's going, but definitely not like it used to be where I'm golfing every day. But that's kind of one of the goals for this year, is just to have some more balance.
Nice.
Cause that's hard. And you always want to be, doing everything, but it is, got to focus on yourself sometimes too.
Yeah. And now you're married too. So there's, another person that's part of that equation.
Yeah.
You golf with your dad on Wednesdays, you said?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it's similar to, like, I work in a different industry, but it definitely usually quiets down in the winter. And for the first number of years, it was always kind of like this weird, I knew it was going to happen, but still was like, oh, this is weird. It's like when you're so busy for the other 70-80% of the year, to then have this downtime is almost like idle hands. I don't know, and it's like, do I reach out? Do I try and get more clients? But then once those other clients I've worked with, their business picks back up. So how have you managed with
big thing, we know it now, doing it 5-6 years, we know it's coming. And I think the bigger problem we actually face is managing expectations of our employees, because that's, they rely on paychecks and stuff too. And if you don't have the work, and it's just, I think it's about managing expectations and kind of getting in front of it before it happens, and be like, hey, you save up the money, and it's going to be slow. Try to not lay people off, and use them to help you build the business, train them. Just doing other stuff outside of, working actually in the business and more on the business is what we try and come Q4. That's what we're trying to focus on, is just, okay, what worked well this year, what didn't, what could we change, new services we can offer, how can we dial in our systems more, or maybe it is build new business, maybe just trying to be creative in how we can do our best to not, because they're loyal to us, and our employees work hard during summer and spring markets. It's busy, and it's not fair to lay them off or give them no work because we failed, I guess, technically as a business to not support them through those months. So yeah, that is a challenge. That was when I had employees, was really challenging for me. And you feel that pressure, and you wear it all the time of needing to keep the machine running, to keep, their paychecks coming. And, obviously I was the first one to not get a paycheck in those situations, because you're like, I have people that are relying on me. Have you guys thought about, obviously there's a company in Nelson called Tamarack, which does great work. Big fan. And they do kind of local packages for businesses, where they'll come in and they'll do social media and stuff. Have you guys pursued that at all? First off, Tamarack's they were an idol for us when we were starting out. We'd always watch their stuff. They do great work. And we've talked to them on different projects and bounce ideas off them. They do great work. But regarding that social media kind of stuff, that's, businesses are looking for that more. And we do have some businesses that will shoot like a lot of the time you'll shoot monthly retainers for us. You'll come in, you'll shoot all their content for a month, and then on their Instagram, they got 5-8 videos and 50 photos they can post throughout the month. So that is getting more popular, and that is something we want to kind of pursue more, I think, in our area. It's just, again, during the busy time, just making sure you don't stretch yourself too thin, and then all your other clients are kind of left behind. That's a big thing for us, is making sure, keeping that customer service is such a big thing in this industry. So yeah, and Tamarack is amazing, and they work mostly in Nelson. They have clients kind of nation or province-wide, I think, or do stuff province-wide. Mm-hmm. Super cool stuff. But, in Castlegarden Trail, it doesn't really seem like there is anybody, or even in Roslyn, that does kind of that business kind of social media campaign agency kind of style, where you're coming in with creative as well. But like you say, it's hard, you stretch yourself too thin, and then you're not golfing with dad on Wednesdays. Your hockey season's done all of a sudden in the winter, and you're just busier. And sometimes, I think in business, at least me early on, busier just felt more successful. And so it was always just almost wore it as a badge of honor, how much I was working, and, the hours and all the things. And I was maybe successfully, the bank account's increasing, but nothing else feels successful. My relationships don't feel successful. My health doesn't feel successful. My long-term ability to do this isn't successful. And all of a sudden projects start suffering, and then you're kind of back,
like you said in the beginning, like that reputation and that like trust you have with your current clients erodes, and yeah, it's like, what was the point of all that?
Yeah.
So is there enough throughout the winter months to keep you going with real estate?
Yeah, and it's not like it stops. It's just, it slows down, and I try and use it as a time to like, recharge and, like I said, build on the business. Yes, we look for some more business or see, okay, what's happening in the market. Like we do, but it's not a.
It is always a challenging balance act of all of it,
And it's business. New systems. It's new, taking on, you're doing social media monthly retainers like that. It's new business. It's new systems. It's new everything. Like, it's not a lot of back end work. It's not like just showing up with the camera on the one day you go there to film all their content. It's a lot that goes into it outside of that.
Yeah. And I think, again, on the success point, we always think that like growing and doing different stuff equals success. And I think that it doesn't always, no. Just because you do it in this, area really good doesn't mean you need to also do it over here. Like, you can just be really good at real estate, and that can be good. And that's like why you're successful at that is because you focus your energy, it. And like you say, man, systems and like showing up and doing, like, even with this podcast, I could take it on the road and, go to people's places. But then it's like every time I go there, it's like a whole, what's their space look like? What's the lighting going to be? Where am I going to mount things? Is it going to work? Maybe the sound will be better, but, it's just a lot of work and a lot of extra when in reality, in our business, we've tried early on because we're in a mountain town and we all ski and we mountain bike and stuff. It just made sense. And we did stuff in that world. And then it was like, oh, but what if we did stuff for, a car commercial, or if we worked over here in this? And it was like, yeah, that stuff's good, but it's not better. Yeah. Just because like it's more traditional, people understand a car commercial more. They, like just because it's different doesn't equal better. And I think oftentimes, you can be going down one route, but there's like this thing just over here that everybody's seems shiny, but it doesn't always be better. It's not always better. Just if you're good at something, it's okay to be just good at that thing and do it really well.
Yeah.
So you guys, like you said, you were 17 and 19 when you guys started it.
Yeah.
So if there's any 17 or 19-year-old kids watching right now that or like you said, you just wanted to, starting a business was kind of like what drove you. The photography and the cinematography, all that kind of came in.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot, to be honest. I think, when I started this business, I didn't know really what the hell I was doing. And then same thing, I just wanted to own my own business. I like the idea of waking up when I wanted to and, being able to work whenever I wanted to. And it just is equal all the time, basically. But you kind of learn to love it as you go. So if you're 17 or 19 and you want to start a business, or you like that idea, or even just like get into the real estate side of things, any suggestions?
Don't half do it, because it won't work. You have to, if you're going to do it, you got to go all in and commit. You got to be ready to spend, like you said, those 20-hour days. Like that's what it takes to, everyone's fighting for that market, and everyone's fighting to be the best and do the best. And you got to be 100% in. And if you're not going to, don't bother. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. And do you feel like since you've come back and you've kind of like put all the chips in on this, it's like the business has shown?
Oh yeah. And I think like even just doing stuff like this and just doing that extra stuff that you can't do when you're, whether I was down in Costa Rica or busy with school or whatever I was doing. Now my focus is here all the time, and that it helps a lot, I think. And then employees, and you take that payroll really seriously. Just being able to, steer the ship, basically, the business it's important.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the biggest thing that I've been able to do during my career is be, reliable. I've been there, and I've been able to kind of deliver things. And so when people come back, or when they have a project, they know that I can do it. And I think, like you said, with your clients, just like they have an expectation, what they need, and you can just deliver it. And, I feel like above talent, above like, your creativity, all the things, being easy to work with and being reliable are kind of the two that have been the most successful for me.
Yeah, for sure. Or customer service is a huge one. Like, be on, like, hey, I made a mistake. I know, just be ready to comp the job. Like, just don't, like, you know, almost be overly kind about whatever it is a big thing too. And I'm sure you know all about that. But I would say that's another nugget too, is just that customer service is so important, especially when you're working one-on-one with these people. You know, I'm seeing them twice a week, probably, our clients that we work with a lot. So it's, customer service is a big deal. And just, you know, bring them a coffee the odd time, give them whatever it is, like just throwing extras or just being kind of go above and beyond on kind of everything you do, I think is important. Little
things do go a long ways. But I know you have to run because you're off to another appointment.
Yeah.
Just living it right now. So thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, of course. And if you want to get into it, start early, go all in, be willing to do it for free to learn. And when you make a mistake, just learn from it and then crush it like Nic's doing. And then you'll have your own group company, which just sounds cool.
Yeah.
You know, like Jenner Media. What was it before?
Jenner Media House is what we started.
Media. Yeah. A house is cool, but a group is way cooler.
Yeah.
Then you build your empire, and then you kind of just take over the area, and then, you know, people have no choice but to get a hold of you and use you. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for
Good luck with everything. You guys are crushing it. Yeah, it's cool to see. So you get out of here. Yeah. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll get together soon.
Alrighty. Thanks, Scotty.